how often have you created a site or something? Kind of what level are you at? It's like, I'm a professional. Just let me pass the thing. Just ask me that in the beginning then, and then let me pass the first fun experience. Okay, so now I'm all greened out, and the mic is probably now spiking, and rant of the beep, 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 beep. Yeah, and you have to put all the beeps in place. Yeah, sorry.
Oh shit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power Platform Boost podcast, your timely source of Power Platform news and updates with your hosts, Nick Dolman and Ulrikke Ackerbeck.
Hey, Nick.
Hello.
Good
Ulrikke.
morning.
Yeah, morning for both of us.
For
separate,
once.
Separate countries, 1 hour time difference, but...
Yeah, you realized that a bit too late.
Yeah, at least it wasn't like a 3 hour difference or me not showing up and you calling me like, where are you? So it's all good.
Well, that's usually the other way around. It's like you set a time and I go, yeah, that's going to be perfect. And then I'm like, I'm 10 minutes late. I'm 15 minutes late. And you're just sitting there going, oh, but yeah. So
yes.
Usually it's afternoon for me, but you're used to doing this in the morning. So you look, sharp and bright as ever. Morning ready.
Thanks. And got a coffee going, the whole bit. This is almost like it normally is, and not quite.
Yeah.
And
so why are you almost in my time zone then?
Almost. Why am I? Yeah, here. Basically, for those of you who don't know, I went and competed in the World Masters Powerlifting Championship last week in South Africa. So I was in Cape Town and I knew I was going to Cape Town. This has been planned months in advance. I was training, I was working to compete and everything like that. And then I'm looking at the travel going, okay, I'm going all the way to South Africa. Then I was going to last Friday. My original plan was to fly back home. And I'm looking at the event calendar and I'm seeing, okay, cool. South Coast Summits in the UK. And I know there's a lot of our friends in the community will be there. They'll be speaking or just going there. So I kind of like, oh, well, let me just see if I were to, like, hypothetically, if I were to change my flights, could I actually go from South Africa? Because I knew I was competing. I now knew I was competing earlier in the week. Way back when I booked, I had no idea when in the week I would be competing. So I knew I wouldn't be able to go to South Coast Summit for various reasons. But then I kind of looked at it and I'm like, oh, actually, to change the flights and everything was really not much bother at all. That surprisingly, I flew with the United Airlines and their website was amazing. It was just sort of like, change your flight? Yeah, I want to do this. And it came back within seconds. Oh, it's going to cost you a little bit this, but it was like next to nothing. And we'll just change the flights and do. And I'm like, cool. So
it's almost on the way, right? It's just...
Not really. It's a long way home.
Okay, I'm not very good with geography, so
no. Yes, I do know this. Yeah, so as opposed to going from this dot to this dot, I went from this dot to this dot before I go to this dot.
Okay, so, yeah. That's good.
So, I went, and then, I flew up to South Coast Summit, which was this past weekend, which I'm sure have seen a lot of you folks that are listening or watching now, which was amazing. It was so good to see so many people. There's a lot of surprises of people that I didn't realize were going to be there. And then I know a lot of people didn't know that I was going to be there. So, it was just good. It was a good community event. Just in how everybody sort of gets together. And then the content itself was like next level, with, kind of across the boards from both technical and kind of the non-technical aspects. In the middle of Franco Musso's session, there was a fire alarm, which allowed all of us to get outside, get a breath of fresh air, meet up with some friends, get some selfies, and then be able to go back in and continue on with the conference.
Maybe that's something we should incorporate in all events. Why not?
Yes.
I mean, come on. Let's do it. Let's push the button.
Yes. Okay. So the next time a fire alarm goes off, we know whose fault it might have been.
But without us having this conversation, you would think it would be me anyways. And just a bit of a disclaimer: it wouldn't be the first time I've done it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was a kid back then. Well, I'm still a kid, but
Wow. I thought I knew a lot
So-
about you, but there's every week there's a new mystery that unfolds. So
so many things. Okay,
Yeah.
so other than the very well timed fire alarm, it was a good conference because I have now blocked out my LinkedIn because of freaking FOMO. So I haven't seen anything.
yes, very. We should do that. We need the FOMO filters on LinkedIn. It's like, oh, here's a big conference coming up that I'm not going to be attending. FOMO. Or
Block
FOMO,
this hashtag.
yeah.
Block this. Right? Yeah. Oh, can you please just feature requests?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely, it's a good one. I know they do it. They alternate between the Scottish Summit and South Coast Summit. I didn't hear any rumblings of the next South Coast Summit. I'm assuming it's going to be in 2 years, or maybe they don't even know yet. I mean, that's fair. We know Scottish Summit, it's coming up next year. It will be in Edinburgh. So we know that's already on the calendar.
And we talked about that last episode, right? Because they just announced it before the last episode. So October 3rd is going to be Scottish Summit next year. Yeah, 2026.
Right. And there's 1 or 2 events in between now and then that we'll talk about maybe at the end.
Just a few, which is
just a few. Cool. But there was also, as always, news and updates that came that are coming through that we probably should talk about, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. So what was it like being an attendee for once? Because the South Coast, you didn't do anything. It was just an attendee.
Oh, it was good. I mean, I think probably a good portion of our audience generally are just attendees, and we're always the ones we're speaking or we're running mentoring sessions or keynotes or workshops. And I definitely enjoy doing that. Like that was a thing. If Cookie even mentioned, he said, "Oh, if anybody drops out, would you be willing to jump in?" I said, "Absolutely. Just give me the word." But being an attendee, it's nice because that way you can go through but then the thing is, even as attendee, you kind of run into the same thing. There was a couple blocks where there are 3 sessions happening at the exact same time, and I want to go to all of them at the same time, and I can't do it was in Harry Potter. Hermione had the time tracker or the time changer.
That would be fantastic.
That she could go to 3 different classes at the same time. But the cool thing is, though, a lot of these, but I think what we're saying now, I've noticed with other attending and other events is, oh, have you seen, like we might just say, hey, have you seen like Daniel's session on MCP before? Like, no, he's doing it now. Great. But then you're like, well, I know Daniel's going to present that same session at a later conference. So it kind of sticks in your radar. So you kind of know that, okay, if I miss it this time, I should be able to catch it next time kind of thing. So there's less of that, oh, shoot, I'm missing out kind of thing. I think that's the importance of also, I know we live a privileged life where we get to go to multiple conferences throughout the year. And I do recognize that not everybody gets to do that. But the nice thing is some of these large conferences that you see where you have to travel to and you pay money to get into, a lot of these sessions come from local community events or local user groups, and they kind of get refined and done through the process. So if you can't go to an event or you can't get clearance through work or funding through work or whatever, I highly encourage check the local user groups and check the local community events that are free, because chances are a lot of the same content will be there at these local user groups, or you might get to see the early versions of it as up and coming speakers are trying it that eventually will get to the bigger conferences as well. So yeah, I mean, you know me, I love going to conferences and just sitting down and learning and getting these new ideas, jotting down notes, seeing your URLs going up. I try to download the presentations a little bit later if I can, and having those as resources that I can now add to a Copilot notebook and be able to search for those things later on. Just the learning value at these conferences are just next level. So definitely highly recommend attending any type that you have the opportunity to go for it.
Yeah. So other than knowing kind of which speakers are going to present again at a later conference, do you have any kind of tips or tricks for how to choose? If you're in that situation where you have 3 sessions you want to go to, how do you choose which to go to?
Well, that's a great question. I would say, I think a lot of it is like definitely the topics. So there's different reasons why I go to sessions. First and foremost, the reason I would go to a session, the same as most people would go to a session, is I want to learn something brand new or something I don't know about. I know I'm not going to be a master at that skill by attending a 45-minute session, but I'm going to at least get pointed in the right direction. I'm going to get some idea of resources. And not only that, I might meet the speaker. If I've not met this person before, there's another resource in the community that we could potentially call upon if we need help. So for example, Matt Beard did a session on PCF controls and TypeScript. Things that, we've talked about that. This is on my to-do list for learning. So going to Matt's session, I got a lot of tips. I got a lot of directions. He talked a little bit about his own learning journey, where he started. So I found that very valuable. So to me, that's sort of if I'm ranking sessions, is this something new I'm going to learn? Is this something I want to learn? Is this something that's already on my to-do list? Other times if it's new technology. Oh, I know nothing about MCP servers. What is MCP? What does this mean? Sounds really important to hear buzzwords. Okay, I'm going to go to Daniel's session because this is new stuff. And then sometimes I will go to a session that I know nothing about. Like I've gone to Power BI sessions because I'm not like, I don't do Power BI stuff, but I know it's really important. But I also know I might have attended a Power BI session maybe a couple of years ago. What's new? What's changed? Maybe there's things that I'm not aware of. And of course, these little ideas stick in your mind. So then you get on a client project and someone asks you a question. You're like, okay, wait a minute. Yes, I did see that such and such did a session on Power BI and they talked about it. Let me get their deck, download it from that conference and kind of evaluate what they did. And then sometimes the other sessions too, if there's something completely different. I attended a session by Keegan Chambers on neurodiversity, which there's reasons why I went and attended that session for other upcoming events that we're planning. But I was like, okay, this is different. This is something I never thought about. After seeing that session, I'm like, this is almost, I would say, mandatory viewing for anybody working in our industry, just to kind of understand how our brains work and how we can interact with colleagues. If we have people reporting to us, how to accommodate them to make sure that they're utilizing their superpowers to the best of their ability and to everybody's advantage. So these are really hard choices to pick the sessions. But then the other part of attending a conference like this is it's always more than just attending the sessions. It's also talking to the sponsors because they have a lot of products and services that could help you in your projects or your day-to-day. And of course, these sponsors, they're the ones that are, if it's a free event, or even if it's a paid event, they're making sure that you don't have to pay as much to actually get into that event. They're covering things like lunches. They're covering sometimes helping getting the best speakers into those events. So definitely, visiting those sponsors is very important. But the biggest thing to me about any of these conferences is just the conversations, like chatting in the hall about particular technology or something you're working on, or even, talking to someone who did a session on something and talking about their topic and learning more and helping them, giving you pointers. Because I would say the biggest thing that I love about giving a session, like I think you're the same way, is when people come up and ask questions after. There's nothing, I don't know, I get a thrill out of it when people come up and ask questions after I gave a presentation, or they follow you down the hall when you kind of go to the next thing and they're asking questions about what you spoke about. So having those types of conversations, because the questions they ask could help you learn something as well, because they could say, well, I'm working on a particular problem. How would you approach this? And of course, it gets your own creative juices thinking, and then you kind of get those good brainstorms going. But then even just having the straight one-on-one conversations with somebody too, just making a connection. And I mean, you and I have talked about this, and this is something I've talked about in kind of other sessions, is as adults, we have such a hard time making new friends. This community facilitates making friends as adults. And I had, I think I can kind of call this out. I had a great conversation with Cheryl Netley yesterday, and hi Cheryl, I hope you're listening. But we talked about her camping trips, and she has this roof tent on her car and the adventures that she's going in. And this is something that I want to do as well. So we had that, that conversation about that, and that was like really good. Me and Sean Astrachan were just sitting down and talking about a variety of things. And then we just kind of get in this whole Matthew McConaughey kind of conversation. We're talking about accents, and we're both kind of doing Matthew McConaughey impressions. And it was just, I don't know, these are these little adventures, these little conversations that just make life so rich. So if anybody asks, why do I go to these conferences? It's the meeting the people. And
It is about the
yeah,
people.
yeah,
My friends keep asking me, how come you work so much, and how come you go off on weekends and spend the whole week working all the time? Isn't kind of work enough work for you? It's like, why would you bother? It's like, well, you don't get it. These are kind of, this is one of my core friend groups, right? It's going around the
yeah.
world, meeting up with the same people and different people around the world. We're kind of a traveling circus at this point, where
I
you
love
see the
it.
same people again and again. Yeah, but that's what it is, right? And then different compilations of people in the group, and then meeting new people, and it's such a great way to meet people and to build a good group of friends, and we hang out in the free time as well. And it's not just community friends; it's becoming real friendships. And we met through a community event ish, and so I mean, it's building real relationship. It's not about work necessarily. I don't think people
Yeah,
realize that that's what it is.
yeah,
But no,
absolutely.
I wholeheartedly agree. And also that great group of community friends, they came up with lots of new news and updates these last few weeks. So you want to dive into the list?
Absolutely. So, I think if we kind of go through the list almost like, we always kind of organize it. Sometimes we organize it by topic, like whether it's Power Apps or Copilot. Sometimes we organize it by.
About? We don't organize it. What? When did we ever organize it?
No,
I'll lie to the
no.
people.
You're right. Yeah, but I think if we almost could break this down a little bit by actual community members. Big shout out to Elaiza Benitez, and I had a chat with Elaiza. Actually a few days ago, because we're going to be at talk about traveling circus. We're going to be in Vegas doing a session on PL 900 and then also Plan Designer. But a few weeks ago, she had did a video on part of the Power Apps Pulse, which is a Microsoft kind of initiative, and talking about the new updates. There's new Canvas app updates in terms of sizing and boxes like that. But also the cool thing about Plan Designer, because Plan Designer is evolving so much, but talk about the reasoning capabilities in Plan Designer, which is pretty cool. Because now, as for those of you who played with Plan Designer or plans in Power Apps or whatever they're calling it right now, when you create something, it creates like, Canvas apps or agents or model-driven apps or Power Pages sites. But now it gives you the reasons or the details why a particular technology was chosen to address a particular user requirement. So that helps. And maybe if you don't even agree with it, but then if not, you can look at it and then you could provide back into the prompt the context going, no, this needs to be a Power Pages site, not a Canvas app, because our licensing requirements, whatever. But at least you know why the machine itself decided on the particular object that it created. So that was really cool. That's a great feature. That's something that's evolving. So talk about plans in Power Apps. Again, going back to South Coast Summit, Malin Martez and Mark Christie did a joint presentation on plans in the Power Platform. And here's the quote for you. Mark Christie said, "I actually like Plan Designer."
What?
And he said,
No.
For me to say that, everybody knows that it must be not too bad.
Wow. Well, then if no endorsement this far has made you look into Plan Designer, that should probably do it for you. And is it called Plan Designer still? Because I'm confused. Shouldn't it now be Planning Power Apps? Ugh. Okay. So whatever one of those floats your boat. Okay.
Yeah,
but that's awesome.
Homework for
really,
the week.
It is. Yeah. No, I do love the pulse updates, and Elaiza did a very good job for September.
So speaking of Elaiza, the next one is yours. So you want to? I've seen this as well, but you want to talk about this?
I wanted to jump around, but okay, if you insist.
Okay. Oh no,
Elaiza,
you jump around.
No. Elaiza is part of the Cloud Advocacy Team, which is also behind the new Agent Academy that we've kind of talked about since they launched it before summer. And now they have released the videos on a YouTube channel for the next level. So the first one was recruit, and this is for operations. So now the videos for that is live, and I know that the rest of the curriculum is around the corner. So if you can't wait and you want to kind of check that out, then you can always watch the videos. So I think, kudos to the advocacy team for putting that together. So that would be April, Daniel, Scott, and Elaiza. Very well done.
100%.
And then just keeping on Copilot Studio, because this is, of course, Copilot kind of specific and agent specific. I also saw a new post from Matthew Devaney, and he's been really at it these last few weeks. So, good job, Matthew. He created a post on how to set up the Microsoft authentication for a Copilot agent. So, and this is in the pretext of automated testing, which is really important. And I'm diving more into that. So the blog post is so good. It's just, Matthew, he is just a star of blog posts and videos. He put this together very much step by step. And also the small little corners of Azure that you probably haven't touched before if you're a Power Platform person. This makes a lot of sense to me. So this is one of those missing puzzle pieces that I didn't know was missing that I'll now use and set up for the new automated testing for Copilots, and that's really good. And also, Matthew, I think we're gonna have a new segment for Matthew, because where was that post? Where did I put it? Or maybe it didn't make it in here, but he also had there it is, the feature request. That was just a LinkedIn post where he said, how about being able to add fetch XML, kind of that you create a view in model-driven app, you can export the XML. How about being able to put that in as a knowledge source in a Copilot studio knowledge source? That would be fantastic. And kind of on the same page as the other, there's been a lot of talk about kind of deterministic setting up deterministic capabilities for chat, because it is, the generative AI and the LLMs, and they're not really good at math. And there's so many kind of, you never know what the answer is going to be, but to configure them in a way where the answers are going to be consistent and going to be data driven and going to be the same every time is very important, especially with enterprise applications and enterprise kind of scenarios. So we've seen a lot of content around that lately. And this is kind of on the same page as that. How about being able to actually then choose the columns of the table that you want to show, for instance, and just narrow it down to that little specific filter or something along those lines would be good. So +1 on that, Matthew, and keep the feature request going.
100%. That's just a common sense request, and it almost is a, what do you mean that doesn't exist yet kind of thing, right? So, yeah.
So, and speaking of other kind of new segment items, we have, I saw a post from Jukka on LinkedIn, and this is just one of those fun little things that Jukka does. He talked about PPAC, which we all love, the acronym for Power Platform Admin Center, and we were called PPAC. It's like, how about, PPAC or 2PAC? Ooh. And then just made if anyone sees this who have the power to add new AKA links, how about adding 2PAC as an AKA link for PPAC, which I thought was funny.
Guess what? The link now works. It will take you 2PAC will take you to the PP.
I love it. So thank you to whoever did that. That is fantastic. Oh, brilliant. Oh, I love this, right? So this is the power of the community, right? So you have someone asking something out on LinkedIn for the world to see, and then suddenly that becomes reality. And like the same as Matthew did, kind of feature requests. This is what we want, and maybe And maybe that's also the background for the Code App Compare that we saw Magdalena Kączkowska shared as well, which is specifically for Canvas apps or Code apps. Sorry, not Canvas apps, Code apps, where you can now finally compare the edits or the code base on a Code app, which is something that we've ranted on about before. Is that sure, you can make a Code app, but then what? It's one of those.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. This is really cool. I met Magdalena at Baltic Summit. It was again meeting people in face to face. Going back to that conversation. Yeah, but this looks really cool. I didn't realize that. Or these for the this is for the generative pages?
Oh yeah, yes, not Code apps, but generative pages. Yes. Okay, I read that wrong. And then of course, Gen AI pages.
Yes, and then we can.
It's not for
which is really cool. This was something I think I think Reza did a video. We might have even talked about it, but still, this is again, these are things that people miss because there's so much information. So thanks, Magdalena, for highlighting this, because you even said, like she said, P.S. I didn't know why I didn't notice it before, but this is sometimes the day to day. You're in something, and you're like, wait a minute, is that button new, or is this okay? I didn't realize it could do this anymore. But yeah, this is like, I think getting generative pages onto like the next level of to the point where eventually, I know they're still in preview, but hopefully we get to a point where we can actually start using these in projects, because this is just going to change the game, I think. And the fact that we can go in and edit and tweak and see what's been changed and do some comparisons. And again, yeah, now it's all coming back to me, going back to talk about feature requests. I want my VS Code button to do Visual Studio Code for the web. That would be great in generative pages. But they did add a feature to VS Code for the web within the Power Platform. And I think we both caught this one.
Nice segue.
Yes, there's a segue there. So of course, I'm a big fan of, you've done Power Pages in the past, right? I think I've done a few projects, Power Pages here and there. But what's really cool is, what I love about the design studio is, yes, you can drag and drop and kind of draw your pages, and draw or put in the components, but you can open up, there's a little button, which I would love to see in model-driven apps and everywhere in generative pages. It'd be great to have a little button where you can open it in VS Code for the web. So you get to see your source code behind it, the HTML, the CSS, the liquid, and then you can make some kind of micro adjustments and then flip it back and see what it's going to look like in the design studio. Now, that being said, VS Code Desktop takes it to the next level, because then you can incorporate things like GitHub Copilot. You can get your source control going and a lot of these other things. But in order to do that in the past, you'd be like, okay, I need to actually close my VS Studio Code for the web, or just leave the tab open up my desktop, then download the code, and then take a look at it and that kind of thing. Now you're able, if you're in VS Code for the web, you can click a button and it will open up desktop for you. It will ask you for a folder the first time, and it'll download. It'll go through these steps automatically, saving you a lot of clicks, and allow you to go directly into VS Code Desktop, which may sound like a little thing, but let me tell you, as a Power Pages developer, it is a huge thing. So kudos on the team for adding these. Like, this is, I think the rest of the Power Platform developers can learn a lot from the Power Pages team, because they're really good at giving enabling developers, making it easier, using the tools developers love, like VS Code Desktop, and all what can give you a lot easier with the Power Platform. All that being said, I'm still waiting for my skip first run experience. I keep asking for that, but that's a whole other thing.
I know the title of this episode is going to be feature request, because I think that's number 10 on the list. Because and I have to now resort to my own blog post about how to fiddle with the URL to get past it every time I open up a new, because we do a lot of work with this, and I do open up that as the first one a lot. It's like, and also, and it bugs me when it asks you, how often have you created a site or something? Kind of what level are you at? It's like, I'm a professional. Just let me pass the thing. Just ask me that in the beginning then, and then let me pass the first run experience. Okay. So now I'm all greened out, and the mic is probably now spiking, and rant of the beep, 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 beep. Yeah. And you have to put all the beeps in place. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, definitely. But also, why is this such a huge thing? Well, it's about AI capabilities, right? Because even with Visual Studio Code in the browser, you had the GitHub extension that allowed you to use the app Power Pages, which is supposed to give you a kind of Copilot Power Pages specific help while you're coding, which I always just go away, because it's useless, completely useless, when you know that you have GitHub Copilot at your fingertips at the next level. So kind of getting this down to the desktop app level, where you can use your Copilot Studio chat and help, and have that kind of AI assisted development on with you working with Power Pages. It's not that it does anything that I'm not aware of, but it saves me time. That's what it does. So instead of using, because that's what I'm doing now, is I'm using ChatGPT on the side, helping, because I can understand the context, right? So you're a Power Platform, Power Pages developer, understands everything, and it's equally good, in my experience at least, as the Power Pages stuff. It's just that doesn't break my code, because then we can work on the code and I can implement it myself. But having that kind of interaction on the code base itself would just be amazing. So yes, thank you. And I agree with you that it's worth kind of reiterating that the team behind Power Pages, I think they're above and beyond what we see in other platforms. And it's all fun and games that in Canvas app, you can now set the maximum height and maximum width of responsive kind of blocks on the page. But I mean, come on, that's just, and we now allow you to use the cursor to rename stuff on the left side. So I was like, what? That's nothing. Power Pages team, they kind of just now opened up a whole whack of new tools for us to use AI as we build Power Pages. That's just completely a different level. So thank you, team.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Okay, so that's leave us with one new thing, which is also a bit outside of our wheelhouse, so to speak. But the biggest, I hate to say that, but the biggest competition to Power Platform's always been Excel. And now I've had to fiddle with some CSV files and some data imports lately. I've been kind of using the how you transform data on the way in and stuff. So when I saw this, I was like, Jesus, this is gonna, if I known about this, but it just didn't register with me that you can now use that Copilot functionality within Excel itself has become this powerful. This just blew my mind, and it's been around for 2 months already. So just wanted to highlight, for everyone out there like me using Excel, but not often enough to get these kind of updates up front and center, you can now, when you have a column, you write a functions like equal, equal, and then Copilot, and then you can add a prompt. There's a lady called Mynda Treacy. Treacy? Is that it? Mynda Treacy? I created a short kind of video on YouTube about the new Copilot capabilities for Excel, which she shows an example where you have a list of expenses, and then you ask it, can you go in, using the description, show me the different expense categories that you would use, and then it creates that list, and then it says, okay, we'll just apply it to the rows, and then it does that, and then you just transform your data. She just shows how to extract postal codes from addresses, clean up addresses. There's so many smart things you can do, and it's just so quick. And I was like, wow, this is cool. So just wanted to highlight that, even though it has nothing to do with Power Platform specifically.
Well, you say nothing to do with Power Platform. Everybody out there who works in the Power Platform who has used Excel for a data migration or something or anything, put your hands up. Like, that's all of us. I mean,
that's
true.
So Excel,
the more we can
the
make
world
Excel,
runs on Excel. We know that's true.
100%.
Unfortunately, that's true. Right.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about sorry?
Yep. No, sorry.
No, I was just going to move on to something we were supposed to talk about, I think, last episode that we skipped. Because our good friend, and yes, to everyone who keeps sending Anna messages saying, oh, Ulrikke and Nick talk about Anna a lot on the podcast. That's because we're freaking Anna fans, okay? And who isn't? I mean, the girl, she just knocks it out of the park these days. Come on, she deserves a bit of credit. So, Anna, we love you. And you did, you made a book. I mean, I don't do that, but I can do this. But she wrote a freaking book, and it's called the Microsoft AI Human Resources Handbook. And, I know that your big dream has been to publish a book on the bookshelf with Nick Dolman on it. That's one of your kind of lifelong checklists, bucket list things. So I'm excited to see whenever that comes out. But then Anna did it, and that's fantastic. So I think, so in the description, it says, this book is the first to gather all the solutions across the Microsoft HR stack, which is a lot. There are so many HR features scattered around the Microsoft tech stack that you would not believe. And Anna knows about all of them. So she's been through all the small little dark corners of the tech stack and gathered them all in a handbook, putting it all together in a very cohesive way. So kudos to you, Anna, for a job well done.
Yeah, 100%. And I think this is the type of book that will I think, stand the test of time. What worries me always about a technical book is it being out of date over time. But this is something that it covers so many different things and how it all ties together. So I think this will still be very valuable for at least like a couple years. And also talking about talking into Viva Learning and LinkedIn and just the whole bit. So yeah, kudos to Anna for writing a book. Yes, it is on my bucket list. More to come on that aspect. But yeah, that's we almost should have like a book review corner, I think, sometimes. Because I know we don't have on the list, but another book, like Anna's book for sure, I need to get it because I might not be doing human resources, but I do like to collect books from folks in the community as well, just to support them. But also it's kind of cool to have, like, not here, but on the shelf at home, I'd love to see my own book there someday, but seeing books by people that I know that are friends, I don't know. It's just kind of cool. I think maybe it's just a me thing.
No. I love it as well. Yeah. And I proudly put it in the office, because
I'm back.
Room service.
No. But I was talking about books because I brought this book with me. This is Mark and Meg Smith's book. The Copilot adoption handbook. And again, this, I haven't really dove too deep yet because I've been busy with a lot of other things, but it's talking about building, what stuff that they've done, like building communities, like running hackathons. It's really another great book. Obviously we're highlighting Anna's book, but since we're talking books anyway, I wanted to highlight Mark and Meg's book as well. Definitely another one that whether you get the digital version or you get the paper version, I think this is, if you're doing anything M365 Copilot in terms of trying to implement it in your own business or for your clients, this is another must book to get for sure.
Yes.
So yeah, we should do the Boost book review, baby. I have so many titles.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but we'll put links in the show notes to where you can go get these books. And I'm fully with you. I also have in the back of my mind kind of how soon will these be kind of out of date. But I think HR related things like Anna talk about the kind of the ideas and the way you go about these things, not necessarily just the tech stack, but also the how you work with it, the puzzle parts you need and how to set it up. That doesn't really change much, even though the tools we might use might change. And also I know that Anna, she has a very AI specific kind of approach to everything. So I'm guessing that's through and through of the book as well. I mean, Copilot Adoption Handbook from the Smiths. It's also the way you go about it will probably not change that much. So I think it's still very valuable.
100%.
Right. So, but then we have a little bit of time left. So let's dive into the list of events that is coming up, because you have I'll see you in Vegas next week. So for Power Platform Community Conference, and you have a few things coming up.
Yeah. So Power Platform Community Conference, if you still haven't got your ticket, I think there's still tickets available. Boost 100 saves you $100 off. I think all the early birds and stuff are gone. So this is the only way you'll save money. But regardless of what you pay, it's totally worth it for everything that's happening. Part of my involvement with that, I'm teaming up with Elaiza on a couple things. So we talked about her earlier. A PL 900 kind of fundamentals workshop. So if you're new to the Power Platform, and welcome to our podcast. If you're new and you're being sent to Las Vegas because they're like, hey, we're going to be implementing some Power Platform features, or we need you to learn this, go to Vegas, learn as much as you can. If you just go into the conference kind of not knowing anything, you're going to be inundated. It's going to be like Copilot AI, and your brain is going to... Mm-hmm. So by attending a workshop like the Power Platform Fundamentals workshop, you're going to know the basics. Things like what is Dataverse? What are Power Apps? What's Power Pages? How does Copilot kind of fit into all this? So once you sort of have that, then if you want, you could write the PL 900 exam, but more and more you'll have that foundation that the rest of the week will make much more sense in terms of, oh, what is this? How does this fit in? So that's just sort of my pitch for the workshop. And then we're doing the name of our, again, because the titles change, but basically the title of our session that I'm working with Elaiza, it's creating an app, start with Plan Designer, build with Copilot. So we talk about building apps using Plan Designer, but also other aspects of the Power Platform or even the Microsoft ecosystem. Like, I've talked before, I'm a big fan of my M365 notebooks and how I incorporate that into my app design and some other tools as well. And again, looking forward to having Elaiza's ideas on that too. And she'll take a lot of that information that she learns from the people attending that might be asking questions back to the team as well, because that's part of her job to advocate for the team, but also to collect information from the community. So that's the Power Platform Community Conference. You're speaking of an attendee, you're just there as an attendee. So
Yes,
you're
I
the
am.
one on Easy Street for that one.
Easy Street, I find that's even harder. Being a speaker, you kind of have your thing to focus on, and you kind of that's kind of your main focus. But then being an attendee, I know my mind is going to explode. So I have to pick and choose and also what I've learned is that if I go from one to the next, I'll forget everything. So what I need to do is just make sure that I have time in between to actually sit down and apply some of the things that I learn and make some notes and kind of maybe a small little post or something just for my own sake. And like you said, download the deck and just kind of work through the material a little bit. Otherwise, it's just kind of build up this huge pressure in my head of new things. And also picking what sessions to go to carefully. So, and also I'm sure, as always, we'll do a little bit of a recap episode as well from Vegas, which is going to be a lot of fun.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
And then just quickly going through the next events on the list, we have Ignite, which is November 18th to 21st.
Yes. So I wasn't going to go, but now I'm going.
Of course you are. Of course. Yeah. No one really bought the story. I'm going to slow down. I'm not going to do all the events anyways, Nick. So it's all good and well. You're the last one to know about these things we know. So we knew
you know me.
I know
when
you.
I say these, me, we even had a conversation yesterday, and I kind of said something, and I could hear your eyes roll over the phone.
It's like, when did you realize this? Because we've known about this for a while, and you're like, I'm always the last one to know.
Exactly. So definitely, if you're going to be,
are you?
I'm going to Ignite. I'll be on the experts booth for a bit. I think I was on the Power Apps experts booth. I hope. I just know I have expert booth duty, which I love because it gives me another opportunity to talk to people from the community and people that are new. I did it last year, and it was so cool because people go, "Tell me about the Power Platform," and I'm like, how many hours do you have? Yeah, exactly. Because I'm going to tell you all about it. If you see me there, come say hi. I don't know if we'll have any. My plan is to get rid of the rest of the ducks for Vegas, but I think we have to get a new batch because so many people have been asking. Now they're asking for autographed ducks.
Or a tattoo. Yeah, autographed ducks. So that's fantastic. So then next time we get a batch, you're going to have to sit down and actually autograph 100 rubber ducks.
All the ducks.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And then I saw a post from Lisa about her duck, which has been traveling the world. I mean, that's so cool. That's all that cute little duck. We've been traveling with them for so long. It's so funny.
It's funny because when we got the ducks, there was a few people that I thought, I'm going to send it. Believe me, I'm not sending, as much as I love our audience, I'm not sending you all a duck because it actually is surprisingly expensive to send. And it's like the mail person at the post office was like, what is the commercial value of what you're sending? It's a freaking rubber duck. It's probably worth $1. So I sent a few out, and then it was interesting because it was almost like I think we talked about this. It was almost like a duck race, who's going to get there first. And of course, I think I know I sent down one into the States, one into Germany, one went to New Zealand, and then of course I sent a message to Lisa. I was like, "Did you ever get your duck?" And she's like, No, not yet. I'm like, okay, it must have got lost, and then it disappeared. So I think the duck actually floated over the Pacific to Australia and swam when it got there. So it's all good.
And the adventures it had to tell when it arrived. Yes, I love that.
Sure it did.
It's been traveling the world.
Cool.
That's fantastic.
All right. So then we move on to, that's Ignite, I think, is the last one of the year. Although I know a lot of the people in the community will be going to Dublin for the European Power, for the European SharePoint conference, or
Yes,
The
that's
same folks that
ones
put on
that
EP.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, ESPC in Dublin. I won't be
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Nick says now, but I don't
Yeah.
plan on
But
being
then
there.
it's such a short way from kind of Ignite and just over. Yeah. Yeah. And then you can stay until January for Arctic Cloud Developer Challenge, which is January 22nd to 25th. So that's the hackathon that we throw every year. I know that there's going to be a group of MVPs going to be there like last year. And then I hear you're making some plans to be there. And of course, the Norwegian consulting companies all send their teams there. So it's going to be a great show. We had 80 people last year. I'm sure we're going to hit the same rates this year. We had a bit of a snag where Microsoft deleted our whole tenant. So we lost kind of 10 years of documentation. So that's actually something we could talk about. So if you didn't know, what happened was we had non-for-profit licenses and then they expired. And of course, we're an event that's thrown every year. So during the summer, it's kind of quiet time for us. No one checks the email. No one really checks in with the tenant. And also we had an old admin email set up as the org global admin. So there had been emails sent to that account, which hasn't been logged into for years and years. So of course it's bad admin on our part, but believe it or not, they give us 14 days to add new licenses to the tenant. If we don't, they delete the whole thing and there is no backup. Because we talked to senior admin people and they're like, no. It's 30, 30, 30. So you'll have 30 days. They give you 30 more days. And then if nothing happens, they do keep it for 30 more days, even though they say they don't. So if you get support on the line, they'll be able to restart from the backup. I had a whole weekend where I was on the phone with one of the support people and he tried 3 times with the backup team and they were not able to restore anything. And that was kind of 30 days later, 24 days later. So just a bit, and I was like, well, I understand this is kind of poor practice for non-for-profits and events that use the tenant and that's way too short notice. I'm like, I get that it's different for the big, corporations and stuff. It's like, no, this is the policy for any tenant. Coca-Cola loses their licenses 14 days later, it's deleted and there's no backup. This is across the board, all tenants, no matter what, which is kind of crazy in my book. But so at least we learned our lesson. Keep on top of your admin, keep on top of your licenses and make sure you check in every 14 days. And then take that seriously. And do backups and make sure you have backup.
Yeah, that's good advice because I even know for the event that we're going to be talking about, so the Canadian Power Platform Summit, like we don't actually have we're actually managing on my tenant, which is licensed, but I could see we don't talk or do much for a stretch of like 6 months where, we wouldn't even log into our SharePoint or our OneNote or anything like that because we don't need to because it's just not happening. But good advice. Good to know. So cool. Yep. But moving, okay, so AC/DC, which is one thing I think it's been announced. It's can I say that's the Minecraft theme? Is the
Minecraft theme. It's so awesome. And we're also working on a bit of a surprise for everyone. So make sure to get with your kids when they play Minecraft so that you're learning. My kids are now teaching me to play Minecraft because I really want to play the one block where you start with one block and you have to kind of survive on whatever it is that you get on the block. And my daughter was like, I think you need to practice in creative mode first, Mom, because you kind of always die like within the first night. So, okay. Yeah. So she's teaching me all the good stuff. And also speaking about being able to sorry.
I was about to say, I have an in-house Minecraft expert as well. So I think I'm well positioned. Right.
And also you have a costume, right? Because this is kind of whenever there's a theme for AC/DC, and last year or the year before you dressed up as Super Mario. So of course you're going to come because you have the Minecraft costume already.
Yes, that's true.
Maybe you can bring Michelle with you on the team.
Maybe, that could,
It's going to be kind of a Dolman show because, Bridget's going to come because she knows the tag and she does work with this and then Michelle's going to come and she can be whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
I'm super excited now. The Dolmans are coming. Whoop, whoop. Okay. So, I'm going to talk to Bridget about it next week. Don't you worry.
Sure.
I'm going to make that happen. Right. So, can we announce the other thing that's on the list, the next one?
The Cloud Technology Talent?
Yeah. No, maybe not.
No, I think the fact that we're speakers at Talent.
Okay.
right?
It's
Yeah.
public.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well,
I wasn't, because I don't keep on top of
is-
these things, but yeah. Sorry.
yes, I don't know, like in terms of I don't care. I'm doing a session on React at Cloud Technology Talent. If I'm not supposed to say it, Vivian and Yannick, sorry. But
we're going to have to edit that out. And I'm doing a session on Power Platform pipelines and all the lessons I've learned so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. So if you're going to dive into some project with pipelines, please come to my session. I'll save you so much time and grievance. So yeah, that's that. And then you have Canadian Power Platform Summit coming up in March.
Yes. So this is going to be the business applications weekend. It's going to be the unofficial kickoff to MVP Summit. But I'm really excited this year. We have the speakers chosen. We have our sessions chosen. We've nailed down our opening keynote, our closing keynote. Not quite ready to announce everything yet. That's going to be happening on March 21st. On a Saturday in Vancouver at the Microsoft offices. On March 20th, we're going to be having 4 workshops. They're going to be at the other Microsoft office, which is also in Vancouver. It's about a block away. But if you want to learn about different things about the Power Platform, we'll get some information with those workshops out soon. But also on March 20th, on the Friday at the Microsoft office, the DynamicsCon folks are doing a DynamicsCon regional. And so if you are interested in Dynamics 365, Business Central, F&O, or customer engagement, they're doing an event. We're sort of coordinating with them a little bit back and forth. Our event's still separate. Theirs is separate, but we're all kind of colluding on a few things, maybe some social events. And it's just going to be great because if you're more of a Power Platform person, you're welcome to come to both, of course, but the Saturdays for the Power Platform, the Fridays for the Dynamics 365. Of course, we're all one big happy business apps family. I'm really super excited about this whole weekend. And like I said, and then there's going to be a lot of MVPs on their way to MVP Summit that are going to be either attending or speaking or helping out. And so if you're in the Vancouver area or plan to be, or Vancouver in March is actually really nice, to be honest. Like everybody says it's cold, but it's actually quite pleasant. You can, go biking and do a lot of other things, visit the mountains, visit the ocean. Maybe a little early for swimming for most people. I don't know. I might. And it's just going to be one of those really great events. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then MVP Summit, of course, in Seattle. And then we have Color Cloud and Dynamics Minds and ePPC. And then, a lot of other things going on. And it's, I had a post the other day about kind of how the people around me are more kind of preoccupied with Halloween and Thanksgiving and it's Christmas soon. And I'm like, dude, I'm planning the summer of 2026, like the conference season, the whole spring and the whole shebang, because we're kind of living like 6 months ahead and planning our calendars. And I got an invite for a confirmation thing for one of our family friends, and it's like May 9th or something. And I had to check my calendar. I was like, that's just barely cutting it because I have an engagement the previous week. I'm like, can I get back from that place to come here for that? And I think I'm the only person in the group that actually, I'm a bit worried 9 months ahead of time. So, but that's kind of the world that we live in, right? And then, of course, plans change as we move through this. You add a bit of travel here, a bit of a detour here, and then suddenly,
Cool.
We are privileged. We really are. We have to say that. We know that we are. And this scares, of course, this does that to me every time when I see this. Next episode is going to be November 5th. And that's the Monday after Vegas. So we'll do a recap episode before that, and then we'll see what we do with the
maybe we should just do the episode at the tail end of Vegas and do what we did for Nordic Summit, kind of all tie it in.
Yep. That sounds like a good idea.
Maybe. Anyways, that's
right,
we
tuned
can talk about that later.
More.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, we can.
Awesome as always, chatting with you. And,
likewise. And happy travels back. Hope it's easy and non-frictional. And then I'll catch you on the other side.
Sounds good. See everybody.
See ya.
Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, please make sure you share it with your friends and colleagues in the community. And be sure to leave a rating or a review on your favorite streaming service. That makes it easier for others to find us. Follow us on social platforms and make sure you don't miss a single episode. Thank you for listening to the Power Platform Boost podcast with your host, Ulrikke and Nick Dolman. See you next time for your timely boost of Power Platform news and updates.